As ITV News has learned, there has been a surge in the number of victims of so-called sextortion seeking help. The Revenge Porn Helpline is the only service dedicated to recording intimate image abuse in the UK. It told us their total reports doubled last year to 19,000. And of those, over a third were sextortion, where victims are scammed into sending explicit images and are then often blackmailed by criminal gangs. The number of sextortion cases increased by an alarming 54% last year. In a year, this helpline, though, only deals with those aged over 18, and there are concerns the scale of the problem is much bigger. Data obtained by ITV News suggests there were 176 reports of child sextortion last year alone. One of the victims was 16-year-old Murray Dowey. He tragically took his own life in December after falling victim to a sextortion scam online. His parents, Ros and Mark Dowey, told Sam Leader how their lives have been shattered.
For many teenagers, their local football ground is the only place to be on the weekends. But at this club, one teenager is missing.
So Murray had a season ticket, he'd come here every weekend with his mates?
Yep, this is where they were. He sat along here in I-23.
One Saturday, whilst Murray's friends sat waiting for him to join them, his parents, Ros and Mark's lives had just changed forever.
It's very hard seeing his friends here now because you're very conscious he should be here, he would be here with them.
16-year-old Murray Dowey from Dunblane had been enjoying Christmas with his parents and two brothers.
It was a nice family day. In the evening we were just chatting and watching rubbish on telly, and he went up to his room as normal. It transpires he was contacted by somebody claiming to be a young girl.
That young girl was actually a scammer who tricked him into sharing an intimate image and blackmailed him with it. Just hours after he'd become a victim of sextortion, Murray took his own life.
I was sitting watching football. Next thing I heard, Ros screams like I've never heard in my life before, so it was absolutely horrendous.
We were just a normal family of 5 to the next morning. We're down to 4 people with a huge Murray-shaped gap that's never going to go away.
He was a very normal, easygoing, helpful boy. But he was a great kid, you know. Can't believe it's gone.
How is it possible that you can have a happy, healthy 16-year-old and within a few hours he'd taken his own life?
You know, he's my little boy. To think of my little boy in such distress and not to have reached out for help, it's awful, you know, and I don't want this to happen to any other family.
One of the reasons it's so devastating is it comes into your house exactly where Murray should have been safest, in his room, asleep.
In this office, staff are exposed to fear and panic from dozens of sextortion victims every week. It brings the scale of the problem sharply into focus. We're not there long before a call comes in.
Hi, Revenge Porn Helpline, Emma speaking.
It's a sextortion report. Like most cases, the caller had met a girl on a social media site, but it wasn't a girl, it was a scammer.
So he'd been receiving the threats for a few days. They then added all of his kind of friends and family into like a big group chat. They had actually shared the content into the group chat, which just obviously kind of adds a whole other layer to things. He then sort of obviously feels really kind of violated and humiliated and sort of really ashamed of what's happened.
Although this victim didn't send any money, many do.
Sometimes people have kind of sent a lot of their sort of university loan, they're kind of left with very little money.
What kind of money are we talking about?
It really ranges, sometimes it can be sort of thousands of pounds, unfortunately.
But for every call this helpline takes, there's a line of scammers looking for their next victim. Chris used to scam people out of thousands of pounds, but now works with an organisation trying to stop romance fraud. He fears for his safety, so we've protected his identity.
People make millions and millions of dollars from scamming. So everyone wants to make that kind of money too.
Do they realise the damage that they're doing?
They don't care if they're killing people, they just want to make money.
ITV News has seen dozens of videos linked to scammers operating overseas, showing how-to guides on blackmailing.
So if you're ready to start the blackmailing, you can just inbox me on WhatsApp.
We found multiple accounts linked across YouTube, Instagram and TikTok, sharing detailed methods of how to extort someone, some with hundreds of thousands of views. We were even able to infiltrate one chat where we were met with detailed blackmailing scripts. One said, "I will make your life so miserable. I'm posting your nude photos. I'm going to make you die in pain."
Those criminals killed our son. The thought that they were going to share this with all his contacts would have felt like it hit the end of his world. But it wouldn't have been, even if they had done that, it wouldn't have been the end of his world. We'd have got over it, we'd have helped him through it.
The platforms that these criminals are using need to up their safeguarding, up the protection for young people. If this is happening to you, that is your absolute route out of it. Just switch the phone off and walk away from it.
Go and get help.
Go and get help, yeah. I wish Muzz had done that. Right.
Such a hugely powerful interview there with Murray's parents, and you can see from then, you just cannot underestimate just how terrifying this type of scam is for both young people and their parents.
Yeah, Charlene, I mean, throughout the course of filming for this report, I spoke to numerous victims who said even years later they still think back to the terror they felt in those moments. In terms of Murray's case, Police Scotland told us that they are working with authorities in Nigeria. Murray's family very much hope that continues so that they can get justice for their son. Separately to his case, though, and I think what's intriguing is when we were doing the research for this story, we came across multiple social media videos which were promoting these scams, which were following a very similar pattern. Now, that could suggest that it's organised crime gangs that are behind, that are operating overseas, that are behind this increase in sextortion cases that we're seeing. Now, TikTok, Meta and YouTube, who we all spoke about in that report, said they have taken down the accounts that we flagged to them and they do not tolerate sextortion in any way on their platforms. I think what's important here, though, and as Mark, Murray's dad, said in that report, is that if you do find yourself in this situation, don't panic, go and get help.
OK, Sam, thanks very much.